welcome back to another episode of Conversations with Francesca. It's your favorite conversationalist, Francesca. Today we're looking at self-care for moms. And before somebody will come after me and say, Francesca, why are you always talking about moms? Why are you not always talking about that as well? Well, this channel, really, basically what I do talk about has to do more with moms, mothers, basically talking about how we can just be better version of ourselves, how we can do things differently, improve ourselves. So it's really not for that. When I touch on that, it's just because the topic is, flying around or touching around the lines that concern that. So yes, today we're talking self-care. And a few persons have asked me, I've had friends say that, I don't have the time to take care of myself, look after myself. I don't have that time to do something leisure. You know how everything you're doing is just bang, bang, bam. You're doing this, you're doing that. You're looking after the home. You're taking care of husband, man. You're looking after your children. You're making sure that everything is put together in the home. So you yourself, you basically fall apart because you're not looking after yourself and there's no one specifically looking after you. So the intention of this video is to give us tips, simple strategies that we can implement in our day-to-day life that can help us, help whatever you're doing. It doesn't have to be expensive. And I know when I talk self-care, people are having thoughts around trips to the Bahamas, trip to Dubai, that expensive trip that you've been planning and you haven't gotten around to really going on those trips. So you're thinking, oh, self-care has to be expensive. Self-care will consume money or something. It doesn't have to be that expensive. It can just be something little that you put in place that will help you feel better. So what is self-care? Self-care is you taking care of yourself. And I know, it sounds repetitive, self-care, you taking care of yourself. But basically, it's the practice of you looking after yourself, taking action to preserve yourself, taking action to preserve your well-being, your physical being, your emotions, everything, improving your health in total. And it doesn't have to be something random or it's not something you just wake up and say, oh, today is self-care day. It's something that you have to prepare yourself for, plan it. And like I said, it doesn't have to be expensive, okay? It doesn't have to be expensive. It can just be little habits here and there. I was sharing with a friend that I started reading a book recently, Atomic Habits. And one of the things that the author always talks about or keeps saying in that book, something that resonates constantly in that book, is the fact that if you must develop a habit, you must make it something that you practice regularly, daily. You must schedule it. You must create a time. You must create a place. There must be systems in place that will make you follow through with exactly what you want to do. All right. So it is not just something random. It's not something you wake up and you say, oh, it's self-care day today, I have to do it. It's something that you have to build into your schedule. It's just like when you say that you are going to work. You know how there is clarity. There is clarity of the place. There is clarity of the time. And there is clarity as to when. These three things are crucial. There is also clarity as to duration of your work. So if the same thing, if you can just inculcate that habit that you put into work and put it also in looking after yourself, you will find that you're able to do things in a balanced way, efficiently and consistently. So take, for instance, we're talking self-care, right? And you're thinking of, okay, in order to improve myself, maybe my emotional well-being or my physical well-being, let's use physical, for example. I want to prioritize exercise. Maybe this month, I want to take it and try to do it consistently for a week. It's important that you tell yourself, this is the time that I will wake up. I'm going to exercise. If it's 20 minutes a day, if it is 30 minutes a day, you want to be clear as to what your exercise routine would be about, okay? And while it sounds as if it's a lot, it is not. It just needs you to just sit down and think about exactly what you want to do. So once you are strategic, like once you map out the plans and put in place what you want to do. So I want to exercise. Take, for instance, I wake up at 6 a.m. I do my morning prayers, get everything out of the way, pray, do my devotional. Maybe I'm done at 6:30. Get the kids out of the house and everything. So you're done with all that at 7:30, thereabout. Maybe work starts at 9. Now you still have an hour and a half to get a few things in place. So say you want to do your workout every morning, okay? Schedule it maybe 7:45. At least that will give you 15 minutes to get dressed in your gym clothes or your exercise workout outfit. If you need to go somewhere or be somewhere, I'm assuming that it might be somewhere close to the house. And honestly, you don't need to sign up for a gym to be able to exercise. There's this app that I was very consistent in following. In fact, I think I dragged a few of my friends onto the app. It's a Fit On app, right? You get the Fit On app, get on there, do 20 minutes. And the interesting thing is the flexibility of their workout. So they have daily stretches, they have neck exercises, they have arm exercises, you know, they have full body workout. If you want to do 20 minutes there, fantastic. You get it scheduled into your morning routine. Run through that exercise for 20 minutes. If you do that from 8:45, you basically are done with your exercise. 7:45 rather, you're done with your exercise at 8:05. 8:05, you probably jump into the shower, have a nice, you know, cool bath, then get dressed and get started at work, you know. And of course, this might seem to work for people that work from home, but even if you work in the office, you want to build something, you want to build a schedule, you want to wake up maybe 15 minutes earlier than you would normally wake up just to meet up with your exercise routine, okay? And it's not a lot. It's not something you have to do consistently, but you have to make time for that part of your life, okay? You have to make out for that part of your life. Honestly, if you do not schedule it, you will not do it. Just know that what makes you consistent is the fact that you will get it scheduled, have a place for it, have a time for it, have a duration for it, and get it done. Get it booked. Self-care, book it. Schedule an appointment with yourself. I was reading a book and the guy was saying something about making it intentional by scheduling an appointment with yourself. So put in your calendar, me time, okay? Appointment with Francesca, something like that, you know. Can be appointment with B, appointment with T, appointment with XYZ. Do it for yourself, you know. Get that booked. Once you have it in your calendar, once that time ticks off, you get up and go do it, okay? You also want to create daily recharge moments for yourself. One of the things that I like to do is to journal. I think most of my friends know this. I really, really, really enjoy journaling. And the reason is because it's the time where I reflect. Even when I'm studying my Bible, I reflect. My friend and I were asking ChatGPT about writing styles, and interestingly, ChatGPT was describing me as, you know, somebody that would deeply reflect, as if you're having a conversation with yourself. You know, it's as if you're talking to yourself, having deep thoughts, you know, just around things that are happening in your head. Why I like to do that is because it's a self-reflective moment for me. It's a moment where I can think things through and say, okay, I don't want to do this now. I will do this later. Or I want to do this now. Or I want to put some other things in place before I get to this. So journaling for me, it's a great tool. I love it. I do it. I encourage everyone around me to do it. It's an outlet for you, okay? For people that are introverted, maybe you don't have a lot of people to talk to, or you're just on the quiet side, it's a beautiful way to have conversation, random thoughts, just write it down, you know. Another thing that I like to do is to enjoy music, worship music. Sometimes you just see me, I have worship music playing in my background. Sometimes it's high praise. I'm jumping, I'm dancing. Sometimes I invite my kids. We're doing something like that together, dancing, jumping. We're not doing any chore. You know, it's just that time where I'm taking that time to look after myself. I want to be in that space where I can look after other people. The truth is, if you do not take care of yourself, you can't look after other people, okay? You can't pour from an empty container. And the more you drain yourself, the more your capacity depletes. Sometimes you don't know it until what triggers your knowledge is a total breakdown. You just realize that I'm not functioning at optimal capacity. You're exhausted constantly. There's constant fatigue. And, you know, you've had some good rest, but you wake up tired. You know that feeling where you're waking up, you're tired. You're sleeping, you're tired. It's something is wrong with your body. So you just need to sit down, refuel, re-energize yourself, and put some other things into perspective. And make sure that you're actually looking after yourself for yourself. Okay? Your children cannot, they don't want a mother that is constantly irritated, you know, little things tricks you up, like you're angry. Your husband needs a wife that is fully present, functional, and happy. And the only way to be all that is to make sure that you're looking after yourself. Okay? So we cannot minimize it. Self-care cannot be minimized for moms. You know, in fact, self-care cannot be minimized for any human being. But I'm just spotlighting on mothers. And the reason is because we do so much. Okay, we have so much that we're caring for that we tend to ignore our own needs. So it's important that you pay attention to yourself and look after yourself. Ask for help. Another thing to, you know, to help you taking care of yourself, to be that wholesome being that you want to be, is to make it a practice to ask for help. And I'm not talking random help here. You want to ask for help from your spouse. You want to ask for help, you know, from your kids, family. Don't say, oh, please help me. No. Be very specific with what you need help with, especially with your husband. You can say, this weekend is my self-care weekend. Can you please make sure or help me? Or can you please do the bedtime routine for the children? You know, you're very specific. So he knows exactly what is required of him for that weekend. That you're taking that weekend off from mommy duty and you're taking care of yourself. And honestly, you don't have to take the weekend off for mommy duty. You just have to rearrange what the schedule is. And you know, something to mention, self-care is not you avoiding your responsibilities as a mom. No, it's not you avoiding responsibilities as a wife. It's just you prioritizing yourself and making sure that you are in the best shape to look after everyone else. Like I said, you cannot pour from an empty container. So if you're depleted, how exactly are you supposed to care for other people? So some of the things also that you need to pay attention to is during the time where you're taking, you know, during that period where you're taking time to care for yourself, your home can be a little bit messy, and it's okay. You don't have to have a perfect home. I think one of the things I shared in a few episodes ago was how the idea of a perfect mom is just an illusion. You have to carefully think about the yardstick to measure that perfection. And honestly, it doesn't exist. Your children only needs a mom that is present, functional, and happy. So if your idea of, you know, perfection is a burnt out version of you, then of what use are you? Of what use is a burnt version of you to your family? You know, so you have to take good care of yourself. Okay, so let's talk about what you want to do in terms of self-care. We're looking at physical now. So I talked about exercise. If you don't do the exercise, you want to take walks. You want to schedule a few minutes a day to go on walks. I remember, I think it was COVID year or thereabout, 2021. My friend and I and a few other people, we used to have like engage in walks. 10,000 steps during the summer. So you want to schedule something like that. When will I walk? You know, schedule it. Like I said, if you do not schedule it, you will not do it. Okay, you want to prioritize rest. Your body needs sleep. Do not let any motivational speaker say that, oh, if you sleep 8 hours a day, you've slept how many years of your life? Please, You need sleep. You can only function with a good night's rest. Okay? You cannot function when you are not sleeping. You can't. So please sleep. Sleep, it is crucial to your well-being. You need to sleep. You need good nutrition. You need to eat. As much as it is beautiful to watch your weight, watch what you eat, make sure you're eating and you're eating well. Don't let anybody tell you, oh, don't eat this, don't eat that. Please eat. I was listening to, I think it's Dr. Mike, one of his podcasts on Spotify, and he was talking about how important nutrition is. You know, how it is important to your overall health. So it's not just you eating anything. And I'm not talking junks here. I'm talking about you making time to have homemade meals. And when you're exhausted and you cannot cook, you can order in. But make sure it is cooked food. You're not ordering burger and all those kind of junk food. Of course, there can be cheat days because we're human, obviously. Okay? But make it a habit that you're having wholesome meals, you know, for yourself, for your children. Make sure that you're having good hygiene. You know, if you're on medication, make sure you're eating well enough and you're well rested enough for your medication to kick in. Okay? Make sure you're teaching your children the same habits. For mental, I've talked about journaling is a time of reflection. Self-reflection is good. Assess yourself. Have your friends assess you, okay? Take some time, learn, read something new. Pick up a hobby if you like. Who knows? You might find it very enjoyable, you know. Organize stuff for yourself, organize stuff for your friends, you know. Take time, hang out, you know. Have a brain break. It's okay to relax and watch a movie. You know, there are times where I just call it movie night. Myself and the kids, we basically pull away the sofas from the living room. We're in blankets. We have a large bucket of popcorn and we're chewing away and we're watching something family, something fun. Relax. This life is not that serious, okay? And you need to be alive, honestly, to be in this world. So it's important that you look after this body that houses your spirit. Okay, so don't be carried away. Oh, I must do this, I must do that, I must do this, I must do that, and all that. Okay, then look at your emotion. Make sure you are in the right space. Be kind to people. Okay, don't overexpend yourself. It is okay to say no. These are self-care. Mentally taking care of yourself, emotionally as well. You can say no. What you cannot manage, it's okay to refuse to add it to your plate. All right. Spiritually, you want to make time for God. You want to prioritize, you know, your spiritual life. Okay. I read, I think it was a tweet or a post where somebody said, waking up in the morning and not praying is basically you being like telling yourself that you are enough. You don't need God. You know, like thinking that you are sufficient of yourself. And, you know, when you think about it and reflect, it's actually true because you're basically waking up and running off in the morning. Who woke you up? You know, who woke you up? Who gave you that life that you're trying to sprint off and start running your day with? God. So you need to prioritize God. You need to pray. You need to take time to develop your work with Him. You need to also take time to commit to His work. So if you're spending time in church, fantastic. Does that mean you should expend yourself to 0.0? No. Breaks are good. You can take break when you can't manage it. Okay? So it's important to squeeze these things into your day. And you may think that is a lot, but this is me saying that all these things, you don't have to do them every day. You can say that this is one self-care activity that I want to do today. This is something that I want to practice this week. It can be 5 minutes. It can be 10 minutes. Journaling doesn't have to be long. It can be 10 minutes a day. It can be 15. Exercise doesn't have to be long. It can be 15 minutes, okay? Taking time to walk doesn't have to be something long. It can be 30 minutes a day. Enjoying a good music. It can just be on in the background while you do some other things. Lying down and reflect, it doesn't have to be long. So, what are you going to do today? Or which of the self-care that I've mentioned are you practicing? Is there something that jumps out at you that you're saying, Cisca is probably right. I should try this. Is there something that you think you may want to put, just try, put structures in place and try to do in the next week, 2 weeks, or 3 weeks and see how that goes. Okay? All right. If this resonated with you, share. You never know. It might be something another mom somewhere is needing to hear. Okay? This is just me telling you that you are important, you are enough, and you can do all that you need to do. You just only need to schedule, prioritize, and make sure that you're looking after yourself. Ultimately, you cannot pour from an empty container, okay? Okay, till I see you next time. It is your girl, Francesca, your favorite conversationalist. And of course, make sure you subscribe. Click on the notification button so that you don't miss out on all other episodes. Till I see you again, have a fantastic rest of the week. Take care. Bye.